Welcome to Recovery Unfiltered. I'm Larry. I'm an alcoholic.
I'm Rob. I'm also an alcoholic. We are not professionals. There are no letters after our names. We know very little. However, you will hear the word God and a four-letter word in the same sentence. You will also be offended. So if you are easily offended, just pass us by. This podcast is not for you.
Our opinions are just that. If you don't agree with what we're saying, that's okay. We're going to love you anyways. We are not in any way affiliated with AA.
So sit back, grab a beverage of your choice, and get ready.
Let's go. Hello, Rob.
Hi, Larry.
Welcome back, brother.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Dumb, Dumber, and Doug.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Revisited.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised about that one. I thought it was just going to be Rob and I today, and he said, nope, I got a guest.
Yeah, I think God stirred something in him last night, and he was like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow?
What was last night? Oh, at your guys' at
the wrestling fundraiser.
The fundraiser last
Steak dinner
night.
fundraiser, yeah. It was good. It was real good.
Yeah, sorry, I had a bell. I forgot all about the wedding I had to go to.
Matt and Mary came with us.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah. That's fun.
And Doug and Michelle. I mean, it was real good.
Good.
So, and speaking of that, I've got two.
Oh boy.
Well, of course, because we know we talk about the one, and we want to touch the one, either
Right.
the alcoholic
Always.
addict
Always.
or the family member, right?
Right.
We're looking at that demographic. But however, we've gotten two compliments. My cousin Edie reached out to Larry and me, who's not one of us, but just loving this. I mean, anything she says, anything I can do to support or help, let me know. And last night, one of our, a great man came up, Craig Davis, gave me a hug and kind of put his, he says, "Oh, you don't got to stand up. I'll always stand up for you, buddy."
You have to
but
stand
then
up for him.
but just right here, he goes, "Hey, I'm proud of you." And I'm like,
Right.
What do you,
Right.
He goes, "I listen to that podcast every Wednesday. That's the highlight."
That.
So I guess we are making an impact on those.
We
but
are.
not necessarily our.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
But
that made me feel good.
Alcoholics listening.
He did say though,
Right.
tell Larry, it's not all about him.
Craig, yes, it is. It is 100% about me.
Yeah.
100%. Always, every moment of the day. Every moment of the day.
I'm all I think about.
I am.
I'm
I
not
am
much.
my biggest fan.
I'm not much, but I'm all I think about.
I am my biggest fan. I promise you that. So yeah, last week was tough. That we were having to record back to back because we recorded one last week, Rob and I, and we had another guest in here, and we recorded it, and we kind of went down a series, starting to work on something I've been really trying to work on, and I don't want to talk about it in depth because I want to get all the way through it before we kind of start talking about it. But the guest that we had in here, we went a little deeper into a story, like happens, right? It happens a lot.
It happens.
I mean, we weren't really going to speak a lot about her story, but we got deeper and deeper and deeper into her story before we realized that we're 2 hours into it, and we finally had to go. We got to stop.
Well, and she had to go.
Well, yeah, when we were up against a window. She had a 2 hour hard out, so I mean, we had to. But we didn't even get remotely close to what we were trying to get to. So we're going to back up. I'm going to shelf that one for a little bit longer because I want to make sure that her story gets told right. And what we're trying to do with her is kind of talk about different recoveries, NA, CR, AA. There is many other different recoveries out there, right? But what I want to make sure that the story that we bring out is it's the recovery. It's not the avenue that you take, right? It's the recovery.
But you do it kind of, it's qualifying the alcoholic somewhat. You do got to tell people what it was like a little bit.
Right.
You don't want to spend too much time there, really, because then it just sounds like either a bitch session or a gripe session.
Right.
They can,
or
but get there, but then what you did and what it's like. And she's got such a great.
Yep. She has a great story, and I want to.
So we got to get all of that before we put it on.
Right. I want to make sure, like I said, we got into it quite a ways, and I was just, like I said, we were under that 2 hour hard out, and once we went back and started listening to it, I'm like, nah, this is not going to do justice. We have to come back on this one. So so we're going to have to record.
So instead of having another week off,
right,
we're back in, kind of throwing Katie out of the house, and so we can keep the content coming.
Yeah.
We'll get better. We got to get. We will
get better. So we're going to bring Doug back. We got some stuff I wanted to cover. What I wanted to cover a couple times. We keep saying that we're not affiliated with AA, and the reason why we say that is we don't speak for AA, right? That's not what we are. My recovery is through AA. My recovery is, and I'm not afraid to say that. but we don't speak on behalf of AA.
Not a bit.
Not a bit. So my opinions,
Attraction rather than promotion.
Right. My opinions, Rob's opinions, Doug's opinions, whoever is in here, our opinions are just that. We say it in our
Mine just happens to be right.
But Rob, yes, we all know that.
It's
100%.
a personal experience.
But one of the things I wanted to talk about, and we're going to get to it, is I wanted to say, we talk about me traveling a lot. And last week was
in Texas.
I was in Austin. I was in San Marcos, Tyler, Kyle. I was all over Texas. That I don't know what they call that section of it. But it was, and I sit back and I say this again, that we in our recovery, we have to stay spiritually fit, right? Because we never know when, where, why that first drink, that feeling, that whatever is going to hit, right?
But let's again, because we say this all the time,
right?
What does that mean?
Right.
You, me, Doug, we don't think about drinking any more than we think about breathing.
We
What's going to hit us is when we shared a kind of my
Right.
story, driving down the freeway, doctor calls and says, "Hey, Rob, you've got cancer." All right, well, let me go get my parts.
Right.
Get back to the guys, and I'll get with you.
Right.
That's spiritually fit. That's why we stay spiritually fit.
For
Eventually,
sure.
because if you don't, eventually, yes, the drink will come back.
Right.
But first, it's the life that we have to.
And it's, you know what? And I don't want to say the training, but it's our reading. It's, it's the life we live. I found myself in this big conference room with tons of people.
The way of live. This is a way of life.
This is the way I live, right? It's my life. It's how I live. But I found myself in a room full of people. Now, I've done this for this is not the first conference that I've been to, right? But for some reason, this is the first time that I was in a big conference room with a ton of people and I felt uncomfortable and out of place.
Really?
Right? I did.
Okay, now
weird. It was just a weird feeling.
Right when you walked in, you felt like that?
No. The more people came in, the more, because I knew nobody in the room. Nobody. This is a completely different conference.
Which is usually fine with you.
I normally was okay, right? I'll go out and make a friendship with a telephone pole. I don't give a turd. But I just felt, for some reason, I felt uncomfortable.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I'm out of here. And I started walking up to my room. And I was like, fuck that. I turned around.
Now, were you tired?
I was exhausted.
Hungry? Remember, halt. We got to watch not to get too hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Because when you and I talked last, was this after you and I talked? Remember, because you were exhausted.
That was the same night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You were, I could hear you were, wanted to come home. You were homesick, which is awesome.
It was that
you
night.
You were just exhausted, Doug. He was white.
And there's your answer right there.
No, I was.
Meeting after meeting after meeting.
There's your answer.
It was just a long week, a flight, time change.
And what was your prayer? And again, his one prayer, he goes, Rob, we prayed, Larry, just don't choke anybody. Just don't put your hands on anybody's throat. It's a successful night.
Those are truths.
Right. And it just, I went down there. I just felt like shit. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to my room. And I got about halfway and I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. Turned around and went back. Talked to two people, had great conversations, and then I felt better, and I went on up to my room.
There you go.
I wasn't going to, because I knew if I was to go up to my room, I would have felt bad about, not doing my job, right? Because that's what I was there for. Right. Didn't complete my job, and I was going to give into a feeling that fear, because not knowing anybody and being uncomfortable in my skin. Everybody in the room was drinking, it was that whole thing, and I was like, I'm just going to remove myself from this situation. Well, bullshit. That's not how we live, right? That's not how I want to live.
That's right. So
I got about halfway and I turned around and I went back and talked to a couple more people, met two new people. And then I was like, all right, I'm okay now. And I went up to my room. So
that makes me happy that you did that, because I had a lot of trips where I was on the East Coast and went to those types of things. Right. And I did exactly what you started off doing.
Right.
But I went all the way back to my room and exactly what I felt like.
Right.
But I thought I was doing the right thing.
No.
Is that why you kind of shared on Thursday night?
100%.
When we were talking about that, because me and Doug have talked when he went back through his steps at 18 years, and he's got, he's smart. Yep. He's funny. He's got a great person. He can speak on many subjects. Good looking.
It's not all about you, Doug.
But if it's true, it's true. So fuck it. I'm not. So if he is, let him say it. But then he had shared, that, because I asked him, likes him to go, she's very She makes friends everywhere she goes.
Yeah.
And Doug wouldn't go because he doesn't like crowds. He's like my wife. But I go, why? I go, quit being so fucking selfish. You've got a lot to offer. A lot to offer. Any conversation, anybody, go be part of. Or else your message that you could carry for God is wasted.
Right.
Yeah, that was like a revelation, excuse me. When he broke it down. And I was like, well, F you. And then but that was just the first thought. And then it resonated, and he's like, What are you fearful of? Right?
I'll tell you what that means in a minute. Go ahead.
And so we stopped at that and immediately took action. So stop. My favorite word used to be no, right? Stop saying no. Because that's just being a coward, right? And there's no reason for that. And so then it was like, yes, I will go do those things. Yes, I will go do those things. And 99.9% of the time, have a fantastic time, meet people, talk about, I mean, even last night. Right.
Yeah, that's what that is.
I mean, I'm just.
Okay, by the time I went out, because me and Matt and Mary showed up first, we were already there, then got there. Or Matt and Mary were there first, me and Bonnie showed up, got him in, goes right there. Doug showed up about 15 minutes later, sitting in there. As soon as they sat down, Michelle took off, when they got down, when they actually sat down, within the first 20 minutes, 7 people came up and grabbed Doug and hugged him. He had to stand up 7 times.
If I didn't even know that.
And if he, well, I was watching, because I remember what he said Thursday, and I was watching. But that maybe 15 minutes. Up, down. But if he wasn't there, if it was just his wife, those people wouldn't have got to grab him and hug him and say, man, great to see you, Doug. They just love on him a little bit. And they get to hear what he has to say.
Right.
But it's good for the soul.
It's
anyway,
great for
right?
the soul.
Because you're out of yourself.
Right.
And I'm very intentional about my shit. So I can say, I was waiting for this night because I'm planning this.
You dirty dog.
7 times. 7 people. I mean, then he went, talked.
All right.
But 7
you
people
get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah, but 7 people came to him.
But and Doug said it a minute ago, it's that fear, right? I mean, last night at the wedding, I had to go to a wedding. And what happens at weddings, right? Everybody in there is drinking, having drunk, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's having a great time. My wife is, she's socializing. And I'm just sitting there like a lump on a log. And I finally said, fuck this. And I got up and I went over and started bullshitting with people. And it wasn't that I had no intentions of saying I don't want to be around all the drinking. That had nothing to do with it.
So what is it? So let's ask this. What is it that we're afraid of? I mean, I'm not anyway. But when we say these things, it says he ain't afraid to drink. You're not afraid to go to this place and get drunk. Right. That's not what the fear is. Is it just fear of people? Like the book talks about.
And it goes back. Yes,
for me it is.
For me, it's I don't know how to pick up in a conversation without talking about being loosened up a little bit. Right. I'm still a little shy person inside. I mean, it may not sound like it going through here, but I am a shy person. And honestly, if they're not talking about a topic that I'm interested in, I don't give a fuck I can't draw into the conversation. I have to be drawn to a conversation. And 9 times out of 10, I start the conversations that I'm drawn to. Right.
Yeah.
And that's where that selfish part of me is I got to be that person that's creating that conversation.
So I always start out with asking about whoever they are, asking about them.
Right.
What are your favorite places on vacation? When's the last time you went on vacation?
I don't
and
give
then
a
that
fuck.
just brings it in.
But that's the difference, right?
I'm too selfish for that.
Right. That's for me if you're not talking about something I want to be talking about, I don't want to be a part of the conversation because I'm not interested. Now, that's that part of me that I'm starting to get out of, right? And I feel myself doing it better and better and better. That's bad English. Find myself getting better about that, about drawing myself into conversations that I normally wouldn't be drawn into. And those are getting outside of our comfort zone. That's making me feel more comfortable. Just like in that conference in Texas that I went to, they're talking about Texas, the Texas Trucking Association, which I don't have a lot of knowledge on, so I can't speak intelligent about it. So for me, if I can't speak intelligent about something, I just shut my mouth, right?
Which is why, but that's wise though.
Right. Well, yes, it's better than just speaking about.
Better to be thought of as a fool than open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Absolutely. So it just, anyways, it was getting out of my comfort zone too. I mean, twice back to back. I mean, Thursday is when it happened in Texas, and then Friday night or Saturday night here, right? Within 3 days, just had to get out of that comfort zone.
But big time, you were tired.
Oh,
you were
exhausted.
Worn out from travel. It's got nothing to do with drinking. It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
However, let's talk about early sobriety because it is very wise. People in early sobriety, months. I mean, some people within even years do it. I disagree, but again, to each his own. But if you are in early sobriety, within months, you're doing your steps. You haven't. You're in that time frame. it is recommended that we've all heard it.
Right.
Have a not a method of escape so much, but have a plan.
Right.
Have a plan. If you get uncomfortable, you go to the wedding and see what our book talks about that.
Right.
See what you can add to it. Go see what you can add to the joy. But if it does get uncomfortable, when they start getting nuts and
right.
You pack out.
You go.
So I mean, the biggest thing for me, right, is I don't want, because I'm there with my wife, right? I don't want to be that lump on the log that my partner feels like she just drug along, right? I don't want to be that guy.
My hands in the air because you can't see from here.
But so, because my wife's very social, right? So I see my wife over there socialize, and I'm like, I should be over there with her. I mean,
yes, you should.
One, you get in, or you don't get any of that pleasure, right? That is with that conversation,
right? So who's missing out on the joy? She's not, right? Yeah. I'm the one missing out on the joy. Right. What she's missing out on is her partner being there next to her. Yeah, and that's what got me up and was like, I need to go. Not only that, she was the best looking woman in the room.
Always great when you get to walk in with that.
Dude.
Right?
She looked a dime last night. My God. I almost didn't let her out
That's
of the
one
truck.
of the things that got me the most when Rob was like, why are you being so selfish? Why do you deny your wife that?
Right.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
Right.
You know, it's like, you should be proud to have her around your arm.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And not that I don't. It's just having that confidence.
Right.
Because I wrote down here self-worth.
Right.
When we talk about that, because for me, I don't always feel good enough when I'm in a room of people.
Why not? Now, why?
But I don't know why.
Now, does that stem from, which I do believe it does, from childhood? Because you carry that, because right now you're successful, beautiful home,
not enough,
beautiful family, beautiful wife.
Not enough.
Right.
7 people, not counting the people you hugged on the way in.
Right.
By the time you sat down at our table, 7 people came up to you, got you back out of your seat just to see you.
Right.
But I don't know why. That's why I wrote that down. Like, I feel that I'm not worthy enough amongst others.
Right.
Like, hey, they're more successful than me, or they're doing this.
Right.
I'm taking
and how do we measure that?
I'm taking their inventory, right? And I shouldn't be. Like, I shouldn't really care because I know what I have.
How do we measure that?
I don't know how.
It's different for everybody.
I don't know how
How do you, Doug, measure success, a successful life?
You know, the answer's different than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and what it is today. That today, for me, success is I'm content with what I have, right? But yet I still have feelings of
humanity shows up.
Yeah, that I'm not good enough in it with whoever I may be with, right? I know you get it because we kind of have the same feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Larry and I got a lot of things because I was going to go back to you and say, Larry, I guarantee you, can stand up in a room full of people and give a presentation and talk to them on everything, blah, blah, blah. But come down and shake hands. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't want to go talk to you one-on-one.
Why do you think I'm not a good sponsor?
Right.
That's one-on-one shit. I ain't comfortable with
I'm
that.
the same kind of way, right? But it's we can do those things and we should do those things. Right. We got to step over that line and stop saying we can't. Because
we have a great deal to share.
Absolutely.
Because I think, tell me if I'm wrong here, part of it is, and let me see if we can go this, because my kids never wanted for anything. My wife doesn't want for anything. Bills are paid. All that stuff yet. And as I'm looking out there taking their inventory, whoever's out, in this crowd, so are theirs. But I've got this one linger, but I am an alcoholic. I'm a recovered alcoholic. Do I have that one? Is that stigma of having that? Is that still?
I don't think so.
That's not for me.
Then what is it? Because we've overcome that. That's a strength for me.
I'm going to tell you what mine is. I always judge other people by how much more successful they are than me.
Okay,
that to me, unfortunately.
Financially,
but we don't know that, right? We don't know if that's our inner brain.
They can be in debt up to their fucking eyeballs. Right. We don't know that.
That's our inner brain playing
We're just
tricks
looking.
with
That's
us.
just the eye test.
Well, I saw a guy. Yeah. So they were giving awards out at that ceremony. It was a dinner awards banquet for the Texas Trucking Association. Well, they gave out the Driver of the Year award there, right? Now I'm still a truck driver at heart.
Yes,
Doug's going to know where this one's coming from.
Well, you're both.
Right. We're still truck drivers at heart. I put me in the seat of a Peterbilt tomorrow, and I'd be a happy boy, right?
For a minute.
Whatever. Shut up.
Until the paycheck showed up.
Well, no, hey, even if the paycheck was the same, he would be happy for a minute.
So they brought this guy up there, and here he is in this big room being celebrated for being Truck Driver of the Year for Texas, right? That's a big deal. This ain't so small.
It's a big stand.
2.5 million miles of safe driving. Yeah. 35 years of driving for the same company, never been anywhere else, for the exact same company. Driver trainer listed off everything he's done during COVID, what he did during COVID, listed out all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't even measure up to this guy. I can't measure up to this man.
To his driving.
Well, but yes, if I could have put that, simplified it in my brain.
Right.
But in my mind, I'm like, I can't, this guy, look at everything he's accomplished, right? I want to be that.
Why didn't I do that?
Why didn't I focus on that? You think that guy 35 years ago decided to say, I'm going to be driver of the year in 2024 with 2 point? That ain't where he started.
He probably started, I'm going to be the best driver I can be today.
That's exactly
that's
my point where I was getting at, right? We can't focus on what we're seeing that guy accomplish because that's not where he was going, right? It's not.
He did a lot of work. He or she did a lot of work to get where they're at. Just like you did, just like I did, just like Rob did.
We went different paths, right? I didn't go down the truck driver. I wanted to be, I knew I wanted to be out of the truck. It's not a path I wanted to go down for long term. My body was never going to live up to it. I knew that very young.
See, I didn't until I got sober because I thought I was destined just to be a truck driver.
Yeah, I wasn't. Did God love my wife, that woman downstairs?
Yeah. Why would you say it like that?
Because that's what I thought.
Yeah,
this is all I, when I quit school, gave away, I did that. I gave away school. I gave away athletics. I had all that stuff and I pissed it away. Right. And just went to work and I thought, well, I'm just destined to be a truck driver, but it's okay. I was doing okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that changed in sobriety, right?
Yeah, but again, tell God your plans; He'll laugh at you.
100%.
I want to make sure to say this: nothing talking about truck drivers, right?
No.
I mean, that's like I said.
You. I loved every minute of it.
I'm still a trucker at heart, right? Put me back in the seat tomorrow. I will never let mine go. I call it my insurance policy, right?
That's right. If I get tired of what's happening and give him the finger, I know exactly what I'm going to do.
I'll be back in a truck in an hour, right? That's not a problem for me at all, and I'll never give that up.
Doug here. We talked a little bit about it with Becky. My sister had brought up, because when we had Doug last time, when we had brought somebody in when his mom put the suitcase on the door, and I asked Doug, hey, did you have any abandonment issues over that? And he thought about it for a second, and then, I did. And then that had touched something with you, and you had shared on that podcast how you went. How that brought something up. We had to cut a few things out.
Right.
But since then, you have done some work on that. Yeah,
I mean, we
covered
because my wife, absolutely. So I covered a lot of this with Becky, right? But we shelved that, right? Yeah, so I do. So it opened up a flood for me, right? When you talked about your mom putting the suitcase on the thing, well, there was two things that brought up to me almost immediately, is watching my dad back out of the driveway and asking, where's dad going? Right. And it brought up all that stuff for me. And I had to really grab a hold of it and figure out, okay, how am I going to deal with this? Because my grandpa had already passed, and I had, there was three men in my life: my dad, my grandpa, and my brother, right? Those were the three men that I was closest to. Well, when mom and dad divorced, dad was not around as much. Not his fault, just not around as much, because I was living with my mom. My brother ran like when you said your sister, right? That was my brother. And my grandpa, I was his 13th grandchild. And I think by that time, right, he had just had enough grandkids. I don't know. He was getting up in age. He just wasn't there. Now, that's my perception, right? That was my perception. So I had a lot of resentment to my grandpa, had a lot of resentment to my father, and I had a lot of resentment to my brother. That all came rushing back and I never even thought about all that, right? I didn't have any of that until Doug, you brought that up and started talking about it. And it ate at me until Pat was on here. And then Pat started digging in some more stuff. And I'm like, man, I got some shit to deal with. And you even said it. And I was like,
remember we talked, you called me and you were like, hey, I got this going on. I don't know what I'm going to do. I go, well, I can tell you what I did.
Right.
And we have steps for that, or a process.
Right.
There's a process.
So, and and I'm very, I'm not very much an introvert until it comes to this kind of stuff. So I internalize that stuff and I work through it mentally. Right. And I worked through it with myself until I came up with what I knew I had to do. Right. And that's when I talked to Doug, and that's when I called Rob, and I said, this is what
And what I want to bring to this is for anybody.
Right.
If you have this comes up, whether you're one of us or not.
Right.
When I say one of us, I mean alcoholic.
Right.
When this crops up, doesn't mean you're going to go drink.
Right.
But what you're about to share is exactly how we handle this.
Right.
If you want to be free,
Right. This
you
is it.
take action.
Right.
So what did you do?
Right. So this is, I mean, I knew it and I felt it. I knew those resentments. Those resentments were come flooding back. Right. And so I knew what I had to do. I mean, I talked to you on Saturday morning coming home from a meeting, and I didn't call Rob because we're very fortunate because we have a group of men that we hang around, right? And there's certain things that crop up that I knew that Doug was going to be more familiar with and understood what I was working through more than Rob was, right? So I called my brother Doug, and we talked for a long time, and he said, well, you know what you got to do. And I was like, yep. Well, that was Saturday. Sunday, I fought through it, blah, blah, blah. And Monday morning, at 3:00 in the morning, literally, I could not sleep any longer. I couldn't. I tried.
And that is the spirit.
I tried.
Yeah, we talked Monday morning
Right.
because you said, hey, this is what's going on.
Right. And then I woke up and I just couldn't. I had to. I got up and started writing a letter to my grandpa.
Yeah. Amen.
And
did you talk to your grandma while she was there?
oh, absolutely. Yeah, I went there and I read it to my grandfather, and just like you guys said, those snot bubbles and stuff just come flowing. And
so good.
Talked with my grandmother because she was both my grandmothers, my grandma Mealer and my grandma Shepherd was just they were just saints during that period of time. I mean, they were just amazing women, and my mom. I mean, the women in my life were amazing at the time, and my sister. But I needed men in my life, I needed the men, and, I didn't feel like my grandpa was there. And so I had an amazing it was just beautiful. And then on that day, I talked to Doug, and I knew still didn't really know what I was going to do, about my brother and my dad. I still had a lot of resentments there. And so I called my brother, and wasn't 100% for sure what I was going to say. But I pulled one out of Doug's playbook. I said, I just don't need you to say anything. I just need you to listen. And I laid it out. And, I don't know how he felt. And quite honestly, and God love you, but it wasn't for me to understand how he felt, right? I had to get that out. He needed to understand how I felt. That needed to come off of me. I love my brother. He was the staple in my life, right? Yeah, he was, right? He's the one I looked up to, and so was my dad, but I still had resentments there. I loved my dad. I love my dad, but there was resentments there. I loved my brother, but there was resentments there. I loved my grandfather, but there was resentments there. And that's not healthy. It's not healthy to have those resentments.
And we think just because, we had those as a child, and as we can become adults, I'm over that.
Right.
No,
right.
No, you may be, but you weren't.
Right. No, I wasn't.
Those things need to be dealt with.
And the reason why I knew I wasn't, right, is because when the conversations came up, I felt it, right? Right. I felt that.
More will be revealed.
Right.
Oh,
I felt it.
Oh, you felt it.
I felt it hard. And I was like, yeah, abandonment. Right. That's that feeling I get when it's people, I hear people talking about it. That's what it was. And
those are things that are deep.
Right. It was down there, right?
18 years, 19 years worth of whoa.
Yeah. And, that's why I was so attracted to Katie's dad when I first started dating my wife. And my father-in-law still, he's a hero to mine. He's a staple in my life.
You seek that, right?
Oh,
you
yeah.
You didn't have it. So you see, I did the same thing, right? Now just thinking about it, those, I had my buddy who I lived with basically in high school, Eric, right? His dad was
right. Yep.
My dad. Right. I called him that, right? And so I get where you're coming from in that capacity, right? Yeah. The one thing I would say in there is I too love my dad. He was my hero.
Well, you said it. When he
he was a horrible father.
And that's exactly how you said it. But he was your father.
But he was I don't care. Right. I loved him. Right. And always will, right? He just had his own issues.
Right. Yeah.
That's not me, right? And you don't get to pick your parents.
Nope.
They're doing the best they can with what they know.
Right.
Right.
That was one of the things my brother said, right? And when I was talking about my grandpa, he's like, well, what did grandpa ever do? And I said, you know what, Philip, it's my perception, right?
Right.
Is right or wrong?
You were a child.
I was young. Right.
And when we're children, just like
Right.
the Bible says, that we thought as a child, we reason like a child, we act like a child.
I mean, I was the redheaded stepchild because I was the youngest and I got picked on by all my bigger cousins and my uncles, and I got picked on. Well, what do you think that did for a kid that's, 9 or 10 or 11 years old, right? Nobody's sticking up for me. And it just made me feel that way. Well, I mean, I had to let that go, right? I'm not a 9 or 10 or 12-year-old child anymore. I'm a 54-year-old grown-ass adult.
But you still
with my own.
that.
I did until recently, right? I had to let it go. Right. And as far as, working through this with my dad, I'm not going to. I love my dad. He was going through his stuff as well. Just like my brother said, he goes, bud, we were all going through it.
But we don't see that. We're just worried about how we feel, right? But now you can understand that. Remember we were talking about that. I said, hey, but like with my sister, she taillights, right? I'm out.
Right.
Well, what?
Right.
You can't do that to me. But she had enough and had a way out.
Right.
You can't blame him because I would have did the same thing.
So did my brother.
But we didn't see it as didn't see it as doing something for her. She was doing something to you.
Right.
That's how we.
That's exactly how I
digested
it. For a long. I mean, till just now. I mean, and here's the thing. I don't want people that are listening to this to go, well, that's some psycho bullshit. No, it's not. It's really not.
It's real.
It is fucking as real as it gets.
Resentment is the number one offender. It destroys more. Page 63. It destroys more alcoholics than anything else.
But when I looked at this from the other side of this, right before AA, before even my drinking got as bad as it did, I used to hear people say that and go, "Fucking toughen up, right? Toughen up, Buttercup." But now knowing this,
just walk around calloused and
right?
That's a great way to go.
Yeah,
and unable to help anybody else and just sit there in your little cocoon. That's a good way to live.
Right?
That was me.
And that
I was bad.
And that's.
I was
it worked
bad
for a while.
It did
a long while.
Right, and until I drank so much that I was hiding all that shit, and now the freedom that I got from my sobriety, right? The freedom is incredible. And to rid myself of all that shit,
that fucking baggage,
that I don't know if I'd call it baggage,
it's
Rob.
Baggage.
Okay,
it's a big bunch of feelings in
it's
that bag.
It's a big bunch of feelings
that you got rid of.
When I would talk to when other people would talk about their brothers and how tight they were with their brothers, I would miss that, right? I would be jealous of hearing people talk about how tight they were with their brother. I'm like, fuck, I never had that. That shit, that kind of stuff. I don't have that anymore, right? I don't.
And the people that say toughen up, I mean, look at the men we have. Like you talk about, you got to.
What do you consider tough?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you. Well, I am. I know I'm fucking tough.
Right.
Anyway, how many people have they helped? How many people have they touched in their life?
Right. Zero.
Probably that and fucking many. So you go ahead and live like that.
Right. Anyway, so yeah, I'm glad Tammy brought that up, and actually I'm glad you brought it back up
because that's what we do in sobriety when these things crop up.
And
we deal with them or don't or carry them. So
that's one of the things I thought of when I was driving out to my grandfather's grave and my grandmother's grave is how many people we see even in our programs that go back out, right? That get these resentments when they pop up, they don't deal with them, and that's why they go out drinking, right? So when these pop up, if you don't deal with it and you go, fuck it, those fuckets are going to take you back to drinking. I promise you, they will take you back.
And if you're not one of us, they will keep you in misery.
Right. They will keep you right where they want you. Right. They will keep you in that little fucking shell of a man that you're trying to be.
No matter how big you may be.
Right.
You're a
drinking
shell.
And drunk. And it'll keep you right there if you don't let go of those resentments, those hates, those hangups, all that stuff. If you don't learn to let that go. And it doesn't make you a softie. It doesn't. We just had this conversation last night at a wedding. Me and another guy, he was talking about his dad, about how his dad was always this big hunter. And but the older he gets, the more he cries about dead animals and how he gets emotional about stuff when he sees it on TV. And I don't know what it is. I don't cry at a drop of a hat. You bring one of my daughters up, something happened with one of my daughters, I'll cry like that.
We learned that a few podcasts.
That's
actually normal.
I mean,
it should be a normal behavior.
I watched a man
that we're God given right there.
I watched a man give away his daughter last night, and I did it a year ago next week, and I know how emotional that was. I watched a man do it last night. Guess what happens 1 year ago? One year from now, I get to do it all again with my other daughter, right? So there's emotions and all their accomplishments that they do, right? Mm-hmm. Their accomplishments that you get to see your children do.
Hey, you're living life. Imagine that.
Oh my God. It's
but really living.
Right, that's the point I was trying to get to, Rob, is would I have enjoyed that drinking? I may have been there.
Okay, would you have appreciated it?
Thank you.
That's a better way of looking at it.
That's what I wouldn't have appreciated.
You would have been happy and enjoyed it, but you wouldn't.
We would have partied about it.
But
we would have done
5 minutes later, but you wouldn't have appreciated it.
No,
you wouldn't be right here, still being able to bring that to your heart.
Right. So what that brings up a little bit is what I want to get into. I want to talk about our 12 steps. Right. I think it's something because we're going to go down the road and avenue that we're going to go through. We're talking about NA and CR. And
CR, by the way, if you don't know, is Celebrate Recovery.
Celebrate Recovery and Narcotics
Anonymous.
These are the ones.
Not affiliated with any one of those.
Not affiliated with any of them at all. We are affiliated with is bringing people to recovery, right? Whichever way that is, right? Whichever way that is.
Which is basically bringing people to, for me, this is an avenue to bring people to God.
Right.
I introduce you to God as either you understand him or wherever you are, or if you don't have one yet, you can have mine until you find your own.
Right.
Whatever.
Right. Hold on a second.
There's only one reason why people relapse. Because life is not satisfying enough sober. That's it. I stuck around here and been sober a million times and stuck around 1,000 meetings, all these freaking things, and it was never extremely satisfying until I worked all 12 steps and helped other people. The psychic change is in the 12th step. This is the spiritual awakening. The peace that surpasses all understanding. That's in the 12th step.
So yeah, by the way, that guy could be Jason A's identical twin.
Yes.
You know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly who that is.
That guy.
When
I first saw that guy, I'm like, holy cow, Jason's on Instagram. Look at this. But I mean, he's a twin to him. But when I hear that, I love that when it talks about peace, right? I wrote down.
Well, you speak on peace, and Larry, you talk about the serenity that you feel, and that is you speak on it more than any of us. That's your driving force.
It's my drug. It really is my drug.
I mean, I don't know that I would frame it that way, but I know what you mean.
It's what keeps me sober.
The way I say it, it's what I was looking to fill that spot with, and the other drugs. I think the thing that God feels now for me through this work, this way of life. Yeah. That you're right. I mean, I wouldn't,
Well, I keyed on what he said, that 12th step, right? What
Touch
he
on
was
that
saying there, because for me, it was nothing so much as guarantees our sobriety. It was working with another alcoholic, right?
This is our 12th. That's page 72, I believe. It talks. That's the 12th step.
Yeah.
Nothing so much ensures sobriety as intensive work with other alcoholics.
With another
This
alcoholic,
is our 12th suggestion. Carry this message to other alcoholics. Now, how we choose to, because you're going to hear some people, Doug, you've heard it. Some men, or people in the rooms, you haven't actually worked your 12 step till you've taken another man through the steps. That's not what the book says. The book says, carry this message.
Right.
How you choose to carry that, whatever your gifted is, that whatever you're gifted at.
We got a brother getting ready to walk somebody through the steps that's never been all the way through it.
Yeah. Yep. And he's got all you got to do is stay one step ahead of that guy. And I'm going to be going through with it. And by the way, let's speak on that. Me and Doug were at a meeting that Larry wasn't at to celebrate. Thursday.
Yeah, because where was I?
I don't know.
I was in Austin, Texas.
Oh, small things, Larry. Jeez.
But at that meeting,
I was at the ceremony I was just talking about while you were getting your 21st chip.
Yeah.
But this is how it happens, and this is the benefit. This is the beauty of our group. Here we go. Brad, everybody know we can talk about Brad. He's sitting over here. I'm sitting here right by the front of the head. Doug's getting
next
his.
to me.
So
here we go. ADHD just kicked in.
Well,
it was a good meeting, man. It was
a week
awesome.
and a half before that, Eric's wife reaches out to me on the back door, telling hey, Rob, can Colton, his son, and I come to this meeting when Eric gets his chip, and so I was doing that with her. So I go out to get her. He's up there. He doesn't even know she's coming.
Doesn't know?
No.
Oh, wow.
I bring him up, sit him next to Brad and Grace.
Dude, he broke down.
Oh, man,
I go, holy, Eric just cried.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen him do it before.
But the beauty, and then because they had to share a little bit of their story of the people that celebrate their birthdays. And Eric
oh my
shares
God, it just gave me goosebumps.
Shares about his wife kicking him out, and then I get to, he calls on me to share, and I mean, we're talking about the joys of what we get out by giving to others. And I just shared with this. By the way, everybody in the room, this beautiful young lady over here is the one that kicked him out 2 years ago. Now, a week and a half ago, she's reaching out to me behind the back door.
Right.
Can I come celebrate at this place? Can I celebrate my husband's victory?
2 short years.
With his son. 2 short years.
That's great.
Dude,
awesome.
That's the gift. That's
right.
God and the power right there.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, so then a guy right behind Doug, brand new guy, says, I'm looking for a sponsor. So I text Doug, motherfucker, you better grab that guy. You better grab him. And then as I walked into the meeting, Larry, when I first walked in, there was a guy who was at the last Thursday meeting, 3 days sober.
Wow.
He's 10 days sober here. And I walked in, he goes, Oakdale High School? Like, yes, sir. He goes, 93. And I go, 91. And he goes, I remember you. And I go, fuck.
Oh.
Do I
owe you an amends?
I go, fuck. Do I owe you an amends? He says, no, you don't. He goes, well, I'll tell you anyway. So then after the meeting, when there were 6 of us, our men's group, in that little room.
Wow.
When I got up to go over there, this young man who, he's one of us, he's going to be one of our group now. He goes, hey, he was talking to me and Doug, I need what you guys have. I need this kind of men around me. Can I have that? Sure.
Wow.
And he goes, and Rob, I need a sponsor. So, brother, you got one.
Did you warn him about me, though?
No, you did when you.
No, that's right.
He found out really quickly.
He found out fucking fast.
Yeah, there was two guys there that night, and both of them got hooked. And somebody else was in the meeting, came over to me afterwards and said, "Hey, that little group you guys got going on, it's pretty amazing."
It is,
because she saw it, and she was like, and I was like, "No, it's something else."
But you know what, Doug, and I want people to understand something. That little group that we got,
it's not little anymore.
Well, and guess what?
It's not ours.
It's not ours.
It's God's.
And you know what? I've had people ask me, how do I get invited into that group?
You just show up.
Show up.
You want to know where it's at?
This isn't, it's not like we're a resort or exclusive.
We're not affiliated with anybody.
But here's the one thing that, that meeting is not an AA meeting.
It's a group of guys.
It's a group of guys holding each other accountable, right?
It's a group of guys who want to live by faith.
Right.
Hold each other accountable to be better men each day. It's what it's about.
My point is you can have that anywhere you are, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be. Start it. Grab a group of 2 or 3 people together, because I love our meetings, and I'm not going to say the name of it, but I love our meetings that we go to. They're extremely important to me. This right here, this recording is a meeting for me, right? This is a meeting.
This is carrying the message.
This is carrying the message.
Step 12.
What we do on Monday night is sharpening,
strengthening one
right?
another.
And we started on a Monday, so we go through the week, and then we come back Mondays and we regroup and we retalk and we go over stuff. You know, and I tell people this all the time. Where's your home group? Oh, it's Monday night. What meeting's that? It's not affiliated. It's just a meeting, but that's my home group, right? Because that's where I get fed the most. Now, the one in Oakdale, I love that one. That's where I got, and I'm going to say that's the best way to say it. That's where I got saved, right? That's where I'm always going to love the primary purpose. I'm always going to love that. Yep. When I go back there, I feel the power of that sobriety coming back into me. I feel that coming into me.
Those are part of your foundation.
That's where
you went, and you've moved and grow.
Same thing when I walk into that room up at Maynard's. I walk in there and it just floods back to me. All those feelings that left me, right? What I feel is those feelings that left me at that place. The feelings that left me at primary.
And I hope you never forget those.
No, I can't.
Those are valuable.
Can't forget those, right?
You shouldn't. I mean,
those are the ones that keep me in these rooms. These are the ones that keep me flying on an airplane, keeps me in these groups, and keeps me outside of our group. It keeps me sober, and it keeps that, what we just talked about. It keeps that peace, that serenity inside me. When I'm not in this, ask my wife. She knows. What is wrong with you? I need a meeting.
Well, then that's what we talked about.
It's not that I need a meeting. Sorry to interrupt, but it's not that I want to make sure I clarify.
Fed.
I need to be with my boys. Mm-hmm. I need to be with my boys.
You need to be recharged.
Right.
Yeah. It's a recharge. Like when you were talking, you were struggling with this.
Right.
You were just in Texas, and I was talking to you the last day.
Oh, I was brutal.
Tired.
Right.
When you didn't want to, and that's the only reason it was you were tired.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hungry. Halt. Listen, we're saying it one more time. It's for everybody. Do not get too hungry,
Right.
angry, lonely, tired.
Right.
When these things crop up,
Right.
we're off a little bit.
I went to a good meeting though when I was there twice.
Tell
I
me
went to
about
two good. Yeah. So the first night I was in Austin, I went to one. I was looking through the list because you can have an app on your phone. It's called Meeting Finder, and it doesn't matter where you're at. You can do current location and it'll show up a map. So it's funny. I found one. It was at a church. And I was like, all right, two of them was in Spanish, and I was like, this is one, and it was a book study. It was a book study, and that's what I wanted to go to a book study. And so I went into this church. I go down this basement. I went in there, and two guys sitting in there, and right off the get go, I go, well, coffee and two people. It looks like a meeting to me. And I sat down, right? And this was on Monday night, right? They opened up the big book to read a story in the back, just like we do on Monday night. And I go, yep, let's go, boys.
Right at home.
And it was the one about tilting windmills, where it talks about tilting windmills. And I was so excited when we read it. I'm like, I'm going to get to explain to somebody what tilting windmills is all about, right?
Because he didn't. When we read that here,
I'm laughing.
here's a reference to the audience that Doug and I know. When we read that story, Larry couldn't. We were
it
talking
drove me
about Don
nuts.
Quixote,
Right.
tilting at windmills. Larry went home and studied the whole fucking
I
story.
can't understand it.
So now he's going to get to explain it, and how'd that work out?
Not worth a shit. Everybody in the room knew all about it. I fuck shit. I didn't get
Stole
to
your
explain
thunder.
It was pissed. Oh well, it didn't matter. It was a fun meeting. There was just me, the secretary, and one other guy. Then another guy walked in about midway through it. But we took up the whole hour. We sat there bullshitting.
Well, you know how to fill time.
Oh, you ain't lying. I can do it in a heartbeat.
I wanted to talk about that real quick about our Monday group, because when we brought something up, and for me, this Monday, what our group of men that come together has allowed me to genuinely care for another man.
Right. Oh yeah.
And how their life is genuinely. Like we talked earlier, I don't give a shit.
Right.
I'm more.
Doug's the one emotion guy.
I got two now, right? But that group, like, I genuinely care, and I want to go over and talk to a Matt or somebody in there, and like, how you doing, brother?
Right.
I only see him once a week, right?
Yep.
Right.
What's going on? Yep. Whatever. Genuinely care about. And like I said, we had two guys that aren't in our room.
Right.
Right. Guys, they're suffering.
Right.
And our group cares. Right.
Bro,
and they got
hurts.
blown up.
Right.
Right.
On the messages and on the phone.
Yeah. My sponsor is like, dude, those guys blew me up. And I go, we care.
Right. Oh, 100%.
We love you. We care. But we're going to call you on your shit.
100%.
And why are we going to do that, Doug? You and I were talking about out here. Why are we going to blow them up? There's taking accountability, which they're not doing, and then there's being held accountable. They're being held accountable, which is what we're doing for them.
How free do you want to be, man?
Yep.
Okay, now, so why do we do that for them?
Because we know how good their life can be. Well, at least I know how good your life could be if you were to complete these 12 steps honestly.
Right. Honestly is the key. Key to that is honestly.
And with reason, and I seconded that because he's right. The men that could be helped by you if you got off your fucking ass, got honest, and you could go touch another life.
Right.
I missed your hint.
There's going to be, because that is the first part.
That's what we talked about
your
on
life
the way
could
out
be
here.
so. I mean, you're looking at 19 men who's living a amazing life of peace and joy.
Peace.
You could have this. Do you want it? You know what it takes. We're telling you. And then you get to turn around, like what that gentleman just said, and give this thing away.
Give it away.
You can help the guy that's going through the exact same thing you went through.
And that is where the joy and peace comes from.
I want to talk about a couple things, and I said this a minute ago. I want to go over real quickly because we're going to go, I'm pretty sure we're going to finish up that other story, but I want to talk about our 12 steps on how we look at them. And I'm going to read them, and I'm just going to get your guys's
30,000 mile view.
Right. I want to get a quick view of your guys's, and we'll start with Doug, and then Rob will let you finish it up after I read it. Number 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Now, this is an AA perspective on our steps, is what I want you to do. So, number 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable.
My personal experience with that, or what do I understand that to be?
Yeah, what do you understand that to be?
That's being done.
Right.
That's, for me, when I hear that, it's like, I'm done.
Right. Yeah. That for me, and I forgot, I should have went first. When I read that is when I said, I my ass was no longer in charge of anything I thought, my actions, nothing I did from the moment I woke up until the moment I went to sleep. And for me, the kind of alcoholic I had to be up every 2 hours to calm my jitters. Nothing in my life was under control, and I'm a control freak, right? Nothing was under my control. Rob?
The unmanageability part. I mean, powerless over alcohol is obvious. Mm. But for me, what struck me was not that my home life, was fine. Well, I shouldn't say fine. Bills were paid. Food was there, right? But my unmanageability, some people struggle with that one. With me, I didn't. It was in my mind and my spirit. We're unsettled.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the unmanageability. So when people say, well, my life's not in that, start just...
Right. Take a closer inventory of your day.
Look inside your mind and your heart.
Yeah. It was realizing, okay, everything that you just said, everything that I was doing and thought was my way was all wrong.
Yeah, but
that was me.
It was being controlled by something else. Right.
And I gave up that control to that something else.
Oh, for sure.
Step 2.
Powerless.
Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. That was one of the things I had I don't want to say the hardest time with, because like I said before, I knew I was a over the top alcoholic for the last year and a half, 2 years. I knew I was, right? I prayed so many times for God to take this alcohol problem away from me, right? I prayed so hard.
But you did no action behind that.
Came to believe that a power greater than me, that ourselves restore our sanity. Once again, control freak. Nobody's going to do it better than me. Nobody.
Not even God.
Not even God. And as much as I was praying to him, I was no way going to turn that over to something I couldn't see, feel, smell, or touch. That's where I was at, right? I was saying it. I wasn't doing it.
Right.
That was a struggle. Same reason, because we're a lot alike in that capacity, right? So it was that guilt of thinking that, why, if I can't do it, what could?
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I struggled with that one because I'm Christian and have been my entire life, right? But I didn't have the relationship, so therefore, I was, it's just me, and I should be able to do that,
right.
So I struggled with that one.
Came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. Right. Restored it for alcoholics now. Restored to sanity. Relieved of the obsession to drink. Restored to soundness of mind. That's what that means. Restored to sanity means relieved of the obsession to drink. Restored back to soundness of mind.
Right.
That's what. So that's what we're looking for. We do these steps. We want to get that power back.
Yep.
That's what it means. Now my problem with step 2, which is the only step I had a problem with, is I believe God could do that, but would he?
Right.
Because I was the prodigal son.
Right.
I took off to the far country for wine, women, and song, right? And then got my ass kicked, and I'm feeding the pigs. Like, dude, I could go back, but will he take me back?
Right. Yeah, that's because we're like a child hiding in the closet, hoping not to get spanked when Daddy gets home, right? I mean, that's where we kind of felt like we knew we fucked up.
In the story of the prodigal, he was off far. He started making his way back to the Father, which is God, right? And by the way, the brothers are the
because he spent all his money.
Yeah, but the older brother, he was the chief priest of the Pharisees in that story. Anyway, while he was still far off, God ran to him. Just like when we started doing these steps, we just started working our way to God. He came.
Right.
He came and got us.
Yeah, I that brings up a good question. Doug, do you think people that have been in organized religion all their lives have a harder time with that step 2 than people that don't? Rob's shaking his head yes.
That's my experience. Yes.
I think they do. I did.
Yes, but I think more than that too.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, but a lot more than that. Right. I'm working with a guy just like that who's solid on that side of the
fence. Is he though?
Well,
he thinks he is.
So that's going to be that's a challenge.
That was me. I thought I had the pipeline to him, right? Yeah. And we do, But
not if there's dishonesty.
right,
in between.
right.
Yeah.
When I was
Right?
lying,
And if there's no action behind it, and
Right.
there's dishonesty, like Doug said, dishonesty behind it. No,
lying to
you're
myself.
yourself.
Yeah, when I was, that's why I
You
have
got
it
to
right
clean
there.
the closet all the way.
To thy own self be
I was
true.
with Brian,
I live by
when
that.
on Thursday when I drove Brian to the meeting, me and Brian were driving back. He goes, Rob, have you ever thought about how many men, in the years you've been
Right.
sober, you've sponsored really? I mean, counting the ones in, the other towns that are now sober, the ones that moved back to, I don't know how many.
Right.
However, to answer your question, more men that I've worked with that had that grew up in the faith, if so to speak,
Right.
whatever faith, struggled more
Right. Yep.
than the men that came in, more agnostic or atheist.
Right.
They were so broken, whatever, Rob.
Yeah.
There could be,
Right.
and I said, do you have any faith that there could be something greater? Yeah, there could be. Then let's start
That's
this
all
process. And their faith,
Right.
wow. I mean, rock solid.
I'd fallen to my knees several times praying for God to take that
Me
alcoholism.
too, but I
from-
never took, that's
Right.
as far as my
Right.
action took me to
Right.
the fucking
I want to
knee.
share a story with you that
Oh, go ahead.
explains. You were actually at Bible study when this was said, I believe, because you were always there. Had a guy that is lifelong Christian from childhood all the way, right? Strong. And then there's some of us that came later, right, in a different avenue that have a glow about them, that have received, Christ, and we're on fire, right?
Right.
And his comment was, or maybe his comment was, more to the tune that I wonder if it's better to come to Jesus later after you've been through a lot of stuff than to have it your whole entire life. Right. And I was like,
Say that again.
So,
to kind of touch on a little bit more why he was saying that, because he saw you touch on the glow that we have.
yeah,
That
there were
these
some
men
of us that
had worked these steps, that have
Right.
had that deep
Right.
relationship with God.
and have our understanding is on fire, right? And he's like, I've been in this the whole time, and he's not feeling that fire
Bro, I
as
see what you're
much,
saying.
right? There's some in the program called the pink cloud if
Right.
you're on that side, but
Right.
this is, I'm talking
We're talking a deep
deep faith part.
faith walk.
And I was like, looking at him, and I said, well, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't change what I have and how I got it for anything. I'll take my avenue. Your avenue is your avenue,
Right.
but I'm taking mine.
But what he was looking at, like, he knows our story. 'Cause
Right.
we're not shy about it. Especially, I'm not shy in the Bible study. Well, again, last July I shared my testimony.
In church.
Yeah, at
Yeah.
the church. Yeah,
Church level.
at the best. I don't care.
Yeah.
And made and I told the pastor before. I said, you know who I am. I'm probably going to make a bunch of these Christians
Uncomfortable.
He says, Rob, maybe that's what they need, and I damn sure did
That's funny.
because holy crap, this guy was over at this other church leading Bible study, and he was here,
Right.
Andy's one of these, yeah. This is what I am. What are you doing?
Right.
And then they see the fruit, because what is Jesus? We're not to be gift inspectors. We're to be fruit, and by their fruit you will know them. And again, I don't fertilize the ground, my Lord does. And he brings me into my life. I'm just a vessel. His is the fruit. And they're like, holy shit, look at this drunk. Look at all the fruit he's bearing. And then I said, what are you doing, Christian? Sitting in these pews. What fruit are you bearing? Any? Right. And that's what the gentleman saw in this Bible. There was a few of us in there who have a different type, and he was raised, and he has a great, and he didn't go off to the far country like we did. But he also doesn't have the depth of relationship that we do.
No.
And he recognized that.
Like to be broken is where we came from.
Right.
I think it was his point, but for me, that was just
a compliment. I took it as a fucking compliment.
I did too. But then I'm thinking, my goodness, like you got someone who's been in faith all these years, straight line like that.
I kind of wish I had that. It sounded like,
maybe
did I want that?
Do they not appreciate it, you think? Do they not appreciate?
He was definitely questioning.
Yeah.
They've got something.
Give him a big book.
They've got something I don't have.
Give him a big book.
No, well,
tell him to walk the steps.
It was suggested.
Yeah. Anyway, I just want to make, because of what you said, right. I thought that's something that will always stick with me.
And that's why I tell you, how many times have we said on this podcast to whoever is listening, if you're not one of us, if you want a deeper faith than what you have now, one that you can't even imagine,
better understanding of yourself.
Take this action.
Wouldn't hurt my grandmother.
No.
Take this action.
Better understanding of yourself.
Just take the word alcohol out.
Right.
Yeah.
Put whatever you want in there. Mm-hmm. Relationships, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Yeah, go ahead.
You notice how I just scoot. Were you going to say something?
Nothing.
Okay.
When you start reading the steps, I'll shut up because that's everything
All
to
right.
me.
Number 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. So that one to me was 2 and 3 was pretty much went together, right? Because if you do number 2, if you're good with number 2, number 3 is easy.
Is it, Doug?
It should be. Should be.
I wasn't good with 2, but 3 was easy.
Well, because you got past 2.
I accepted that I have to do 2.
Right. Well, that's 2 and 3. Made a decision to turn it over him. If you came to believe there's a power greater than you, that to me, when you make a decision that there's a power greater than you,
that could restore you to sanity, relieved of the obsession to drink.
Well, why on earth would you not fucking say, here, take it? I don't want this anymore. Because if you're in a position to where these are even being considered, why not?
Okay, come here. Hold on. You're on the other side of these now.
I understand
try
that.
To put yourself
I
back
know.
on that side.
I know. And this is what I'm trying to. Okay. When I was struggling on the other side, I didn't have this, right? I didn't have this podcast. I didn't have the AA. I didn't even know what it was.
You didn't have the spiritual awakening that you have right now.
If somebody would have 12-stepped me, I believe if somebody would have 12-stepped me prior to this and had talked to me about this, I think my ass was kicked to a point to where I would have said, now my wife did say, why don't you try AA? Let's try AA. But I wasn't going to do it as she was suggesting it. If I would have had somebody like a Doug run into at a grocery store and saw me falling around and stumbling around and said, hey, come with me on Monday night, right? I never had that opportunity. That was never approached to me, right? I had to do it through the spin dry and then go, oh my God, where is this? So another reason for this podcast is to reach those people, right?
Who are on that.
To reach the wife, to reach the child of somebody going, oh my God, my dad needs to listen to this, or my mom needs to listen to this, or my mom, here, dad, listen, husband,
and
listen.
Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe we're able to plant a seed.
And that's the whole reason for this. Is not the whole reason. We have many reasons to get this out there, but I didn't have that. And so when I say 2 and 3 should be easy, because if I believed, even though I was a Christian and believed and loved my Lord, I loved him. I just wasn't giving him any power.
But you didn't trust him.
No, not an ounce.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't understand that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But if I came to believe that a power greater than me would restore my sanity, your sanity to hold on to it and not make that decision to turn it over to him, that's just you're keeping the sanity.
You're still insane.
Yeah.
So Doug, you got your book open. Step 3, turned our will and became willing to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. Were you going to read something out of there?
No.
Or did you read it and now you're going to?
No, I was just, because Larry was saying, how could you not? Right? And I'm like, because I put myself in the very beginning. I struggled with 2.
Right.
3, I was like, I'm done.
Right.
Like, I can accept something.
Right.
But just kind of, I mean, I might have said I struggle with 2, but 3, I was like, okay, I'm done. So I can be complicated myself about how I look at it, but
yeah, 1, 2, and 3 were easy for me. Once I realized that I wasn't in control, like I said, when Chris's office that day, when he turned those fucking chairs around and it wasn't at control, 1, 2, 3 hit me like a ton of fucking bricks. Ton of bricks.
And once Jay broke down 3 for me,
right.
what it means and how it's accomplished, because let's be honest, the first 3 steps are not working steps. There's no writing to be done. I don't care. Now, if your sponsor has asked you to do these things, what is powerlessness to you or whatever, and asked you to write some things, go ahead, because that's you asked that cocksucker to be your sponsor. Do what he says.
Rob,
come on. So sorry. But as far as the book goes, these are not working steps. There's no writing to be done. These are things we
Yeah.
In step 3, became willing, which is the one thing you can't give somebody. Desire, willingness to turn our will and our lives, our thinking and our actions is what that equates to, over to the care of God as we understood him. How do you accomplish that? You do the next 9 steps.
I don't know. I looked at it like 3 and then 2 and then I was go.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me.
Well, 3,
weird.
There's also a prayer. There's a 3rd step prayer that you take. That's some action. Hit your knees.
Yep.
You take that action.
Take that every morning.
Right.
Every morning. That's the one that took me forever to memorize.
Step 4 starts the first write-in that you did.
Action.
Yeah, step 4 or step 3 is the one took me forever to memorize that. That's the one I recently just remembered. In fact, it's right there.
Yeah, I was gonna have you recite it from memory, but you just turn and cheat.
That's how I cheat. Hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Larry.
Yeah, sure you will. My niece Emily made that for me.
That's
God
awesome.
love her. Yeah. Number 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Okay, I'm gonna go off this just a little bit, and my sponsor who sits across from me is gonna be a little bit. So this is where, and I just spoke to somebody about this the other day. Myself, not my sponsor's fault, not at all, Rob. But when I say this, I say it this way. When I did this step, I left out the resentments that I had, right? Those are the ones that just came in that I had to deal with. I didn't deal with those.
Did you do the best you could at the time you were doing it?
Thank you, Doug, because that's where I was going, right?
The low-hanging fruit.
Right.
Yeah,
I went with the stuff that was digging through my brain at that immediate time that I need to speak about to another human being, right? There's things that I did in my 4-step that I spoke with my sponsor that will never be spoke of to another human being, right? Because I'll never speak of them again because they're done. Mm-hmm. They're done, and they'll never take up rent in my head ever again. But we all 3 of us sitting here can say this, is that when that step 4 comes up to most alcoholics, that's when they turn tail and run the other direction. Right?
9 times out of 10.
Because why?
They're called 3-steppers. Fear.
1, 2, 3,
100%. And the reason why is they got to turn that mirror and turn it around and start looking at it, right? No longer is that mirror facing everybody else that's saying, see you, see what you're doing, see what you're doing, see what you're doing. The 4th step is when that mirror gets turned around, right? You know, think about you people taking selfies. When you turn that camera back around and all of a sudden, instead of facing everybody else, that camera's facing you. Now you have to look at yourself. Right.
It's like, I can't remember that. Oh, never mind. We cut this out. Okay, there was a man that had oh, God damn it. There's a picture. He stays young as long, Dorian Gray.
Okay.
And the picture gets older, but he stays young. So when you're turning that around,
right,
you're actually going to get to see yourself exactly as you are.
Right.
Even though you probably have a good idea, but you're actually now you've got to, again, there's holding people accountable, then there's taking accountability. This is when that happens. And then you got to go share that with another human being.
I would have never, and I think I missed you, Doug. I'm sorry. Tell me on before I go back to that.
What, step 4?
Yeah, step 4.
I was scared, like to have to look at that and go, but I was also intrigued about what I was going to find out.
Right.
Yeah. Point, right.
For sure.
I was ready
at that time. I was like, I have to do these. Right. Yeah. I was like, the willingness was there to do whatever you're asking of me. So it was all right.
It goes back to what I said before. Once I got that peak of that serenity and that peace that was in my life, I was going to do anything in my life to get more of that serenity in my life. Right. I
didn't have that though. So I was 30 days of just drying out thing and being like, I was feeling good at 30 days and then go, like I tell you, which way am I going to go, left or right? Well, I've been left. I might as well try right.
I didn't have any of that either. I just knew I had to do it. I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had to go through this.
Yeah. For the steps, those, I had to get through them.
And then, searching and fearful moral inventory is just truthful. Searching and truthful. And that truth, you're not getting truthful to God. He already fucking knows. Right. You don't have getting truthful with the guy across from you. You're getting truthful at first with yourself. Right. Who am I? Why do I keep eating the same shit sandwich? What part am I making? What is it?
Step 4 is what got me to call. Step 4 is what gave me the realization that I'm a selfish, self-centered, arrogant prick.
Which if you go to page 63, it's going to tell you that already.
I would have never have said that about myself before that. And I'll say that to anybody that listens.
And I want to let everybody know, remember, this is the 30,000 foot view. We could break into these steps and we could break them down.
There's books written on each step, right? There's books written on each step. Once again, I wanted to go through these 12 steps why it was just us, because as we get into the CR and the NA and talking about other steps, I wanted to make sure that our listeners understood our views, your and I's, Rob's, and Doug's, obviously. But when we have other people come in here, this is our views on our steps of our recovery, right?
These are more bare bones than the other ones,
Right.
to be quite
Right.
honest, which
Right.
I appreciate.
And you're hearing 3 different
Versions of
it,
right?
Based on where we were at
Right.
when we went through this.
Well, for sure. For like I said, mine's way different because, like I said, when I was going through that, the more and more peace I had in me, the more and more I wanted of that. And even to this day, if I don't feel that, there's something clouding that. I got to figure out what the hell
But
it is.
It's who you are.
And I enjoy it.
You're an itemization.
Right.
There's a path,
Right.
Jason R's like
Right.
that. Hey, I got it. There it is right there. Well,
Right.
let's go.
Checklist.
I'm
right.
not. I'm like,
Theo Vaughn. Do you guys ever listen to Theo Vaughn? Theo Vaughn's a very, very great. He's got some good stuff. He's a comedian. But he said something the other day, and it always interests me, and I wish I'd have had it here. But he talks about, I felt like I had a to-do list every day, right? Every day was a to-do list, and I got tired of it. And I feel like that sometimes, right? I have to do this. I got to get, these are the things I have to get done. And I say this all the time. I'm up at 5:30. I read, I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. So my life is a checklist. And I started thinking about that a little bit.
Which
and
is fine if one of those checks don't get made. If you don't,
I was just going to say
Right.
that.
Which
I
is
was
fine.
just
If you
gonna
can
say
roll with the
that.
punches, those are fine to have.
And
that.
I've
Yes.
learned ever since I heard him say that, hey, if I don't read this morning, I'm going to be okay. Right. I need to pray. I know I need to
Me
pray.
and Doug do the same thing.
Yeah.
Before our feet hit the floor,
Right.
Yep.
I do that prayer.
Right. I need to speak to him even if it's drinking a cup of coffee as I'm running out the door, we have to have a conversation. But you know what? If I don't get up in front of my book at 5:30 every morning at 5 o'clock, I'm going to be okay.
You'll be fine.
Life's going to be fine. Because my to-do list, one of the things I keep telling myself all the time now is be in the moment, not of the moment, right?
Be
I want to be
intentional in the moment.
In the moment, right? I want to be where I'm at. That's what I keep telling myself last night, and that's what I told myself last Thursday.
And that's the
Right.
difference between enjoying the moment
Right.
and appreciating the moment
Right.
later. You
Yeah.
know, now being sober, we can appreciate these things.
in the
You
moment.
get both.
Yeah,
Right.
we get both. It's the best of both worlds.
get
We
both.
get both.
Because as alcoholics, we're looking, well, where my next drink
What's
going to
next?
go?
What's
Right?
next? What's next?
Like the wedding last night. Weddings would have been fine because it's a drink all night long. But go to a social event at your grandparents' house or something, you're not living in the moment. Go to your child's birthday party, you're not enjoying the moment, right? Those are the things where I'm living in the moment. Now my wife and I, as we drive down there, I'm in that moment for that hour and 20 minutes with my wife in that vehicle, right? I'm there.
Experiencing other people's
I'm
joy
there.
too,
Right.
right? Or before we didn't have the capacity to enjoy
And that's where step 4 got me in that serenity, right? Step 5, admitting to God and to ourselves and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. As I just said it, I will preach it till I'm dead. I'm a selfish, self-righteous, egotistical prick. And add an asshole in there. I'm all those things.
Yes, you are.
And I ain't afraid to admit it to anybody.
But to a lesser degree now, and you're going to continue as you grow to get that to a lesser degree. These are our character defects as they become, as we if we grow spiritually,
Right.
they become duller.
I think that's the key, duller, because
Right.
I would have to be cautious, and I almost want to point a finger at you, but I'm not. Be cautious because I say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that person anymore. However, I have those tendencies,
Yes,
and
thank
they
you,
do
Doug.
need to be.
Thank you.
We
Right.
have dulled
Yes.
them down,
Right.
right? But I have those tendencies
Right.
if I don't work on
The selfish.
the
for me.
spirituality.
Right.
If I don't do that, then those things could
Right.
crop up again, and I can be that
Yep.
person very easily, right? But I don't want to tell myself I am that person.
no
Right.
words matter.
Right.
Yes.
And part of my prayer is and I've been praying this for years. The last thing I pray when I'm in the truck, I do the prayer, then I get up, get dressed, make my coffee, and I'm still talking to him. But the last thing I ask of him, my Father, before I'm in the truck getting ready to drive out my driveway, Doug knows this. I'm going to say, who can I
love on today?
Who can I love on that day?
Who can I love on today?
Right.
And sometimes that's the cashier at the grocery store
Right.
who needs a kind word. Sometimes it's one of my brothers who calls me and
Yep.
and it's a big, but there's always someone, and it gets
Right.
me out of what?
Me.
Me.
Right.
Right.
Because I'm not much, but I'm all I think about.
Right.
Amen.
So here, and once again, I know my sponsor's right here. He explained these very, very well. But when I was done with, when I was done with 5, I was ready to go to 8, 9. Right. I was ready to go. So 6, 7, I jumped over.
We didn't touch on 5 yet. Really?
No, I'm going there right now. I did. We just talked about a minute. We just did. Number 5, admitted to God, ourselves, and to another human being. No, you're right. I didn't. You're right. I didn't.
That is the fear. Right. People, that is the fear when people take
Right.
off. It's not so much writing their shit
Right.
down.
Sorry, I did jump over that.
I'll write it down, all right. But motherfucker, I ain't telling you. I ain't
Right.
telling him.
Right.
I might go tell. And I know a guy. His name is Chris. We'll call him Chris
Because his name is Chris.
Because that's his fucking name. And he was blessed. He found a priest, a Catholic priest, who had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He went and did his 5th step. 2.5 weeks later, the priest died.
Hey, you got it out.
Got it out clean.
Yep. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and another human being the exact nature of our wrongs.
The exact nature.
Right.
We could talk a whole day on the exact nature thing, but
Right.
Well, my sponsor at the time when I did that was, he was quickly becoming my best friend, and he's like my dad now. But, he just sat patiently. I read him off and we did it, and okay, we're moving on. I was like,
That's it?
that's it. That was it.
No whoopings, no laughter.
I didn't get laughed at, pointed at, told me to come back later. Nothing.
His chicken died too. Yeah, so that like I said, 4, once I had that written down, I was ready to go, right? So we admitted to God. I admitted to the Hobbit sitting across from me. I think for $1.50 and a cup of coffee, he would share them with somebody. I still think that.
I wouldn't even bother. But the beautiful thing is, you know how well I know that book?
Yeah.
That's about how well I know the 5 steps I've heard too.
Right.
I mean, when I talk to the people, but
Right.
it's not my business.
No. 6, like I said, 6 and 7, I jumped over when I was walking through my steps only because I was just ready to get on with 8 and 9 because I knew once this stuff got out. So 6, we were entirely
Because of your personality, you want to go make it right.
Right.
I want to make it right. I
Right
want to
now.
make this
I
right.
want
get
it
it.
right
I get
now.
it. I get
Right
it. I just
now.
wanted to go do it.
Yeah.
Right. Admitted to God, to ourselves. I said that. Number 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Here's why I say what I said, because I want to say this. I skipped over 6 and 7, and I'm going to go this again. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. The reason why I said it the way I said it, I skipped over 6 and 7, is because now going back, I didn't say we skipped over it because Rob handled those very, very well. In my ADHD brain, I didn't listen and pay attention to 6 and 7. Because if I did, right, there's still certain things that I'm struggling with day to day, right, that I wouldn't have been struggling with if I'd have done 6 and 7. We were in number 6. We were entirely ready to have God remove all of these defects of our character. I'm still not entirely ready for him to take some of these away from me.
That's why we still have them. Because again, we talk about resentments, right?
Right.
Same thing with defects of character. If you still possess them, and we talked about how we dull them, but if you still possess them, there's 2 reasons why you still have defects of character. Either your God isn't powerful enough to remove them, and we know that he is, or you're not ready to get rid of them.
Not ready to get rid of it, right.
And as long as we're on this side of heaven, we're going to struggle with some of those. Because the only time I ever let go of anything was to get a better grip on it.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, I mean, what about you, Doug, on that 6 and 7? And I haven't read 7 yet, but 6, I didn't even remember it until probably well after I went through my steps. I went back, it was read to me. I'm like,
I was so disheartened with the man that I had became. Right? That I was like, man, I've done everything I said I wasn't going to do, and I became everything I wasn't going to be.
Right.
Please fix it.
Yep.
Take it, baby. I want to be different, right?
Right.
And it's not that it happened like that. It's been a very slow growing process.
Right.
But for me, that was what it was. I was so disheartened about.
And it's slow because of us, because we're not ready. For me, Larry, it's twofold.
Right.
When I was like Doug, when I first got here, and I saw my 4 step as I've shared, I did not want to be that guy.
Right.
So here, you can have me. But as I've grown, I don't trust him. I know that God can remove any defective character. I don't trust how you're going to do it. I want you to do it this way.
Right.
I want to do it with this corner. But if you're, but I know you can, but I don't. There's
You're
times.
trying to control it.
Yeah. I don't trust how you're going to do it. And God's not going to tell me beforehand. But then again, every time he has done that, and I've allowed, and I get out of the damn way, it's always more beautiful than I could ever imagine it.
Yeah. 100%.
But at times, my humanity steps in and I don't trust you.
Right.
I want you to remove this or help me with this, but I don't trust how you're going to do it.
Only if you do it this way.
Yeah, only if you do it this way. And I'm going to hold on until eventually
You know what?
You still have it.
Yeah, until we get enough pain. Or like,
right.
I don't want to be honest.
My controlling character flaw that I have will not allow those other stupid little character flaws to let go. Right? I mean, think about that. I'm controlling. I'm a control freak. So if I'm a control freak, I'm not going to let you have selfishness. I'm not going to let you have my arrogance. I'm not going to let you have anything because you're not going to control that as well as I can control it.
Right, because we've done it for so long.
Right. But now that's not saying that I don't, right? I don't. The problem is, like Rob said,
hourly or daily or minute thing that you're doing.
Like Rob said, I let go just long enough to get a better grip on it, right? So when I do let them go and I start seeing them go this direction because they're not going the direction I thought they should be going, wait a minute. No. That's got to get back over here. That's not the way I want it to go. God, hey, you weren't listening to me when I said I'm going to give this to you, but you got to do it this way.
And let it end up right here, please.
Yeah.
Let it land right here.
Right. Even though when we actually when we were in enough pain and we let him have it, and it ended up, oh man, because you see the way things, and you know,
it bent.
You see the way things got, like the way life's going, man, this is going to be so awesome. And then God, it ends up over here. That way God's letting you know, this is me handling it.
Right.
And you didn't even see this coming, but how much better is this than what you planned on? Right. So much better. So you would figure the next time, here you go, God, you can have it, because I know it's going to be, we don't do it. I don't do it.
Nope.
There's been 2 times in my life where the pain was so great.
Right.
It was so great. I hit my knees and said, "You just take it and have it." And gone.
Right.
Only 2 times. Completely gone. Completely filled. No worry, just exactly as it says it. Why wouldn't I do that all the time, Larry?
I don't know, Doug. It's so
why wouldn't
stupid.
we?
I'm struggling with something right now.
Let's be honest. Why don't we? Because we don't trust him.
We don't. I'm struggling with something again right now.
Only when you're super in the crap,
pain,
right?
In
pain, yeah.
Struggling with another big life decision coming up pretty soon, and
we're gonna work through that one because there's no.
I don't know, right? But I've basically done what Doug just said, because right now where it's at, Rob and I is not going any further in this conversation than that right there. Right. Where it's at right now, I basically just said, I'm going to go wherever.
We talked about that.
We're going to lead,
right?
I don't care anymore.
You don't.
He's going to use me where he wants me.
And that is the freedom this program talks about.
Here's the thing I know. I know that my family's going to be taken care of. Yep. I know that I'm going to be healthy, right? I know everything in that, that I feel that I'm controlling is going to be taken care of. Whether he takes me here, takes me there, or takes me over there, I'm going to be all right.
Yep.
I'm going to be perfectly fine. Now, will there be people unhappy about it? Possibly. But that's not my fault.
Doesn't matter.
We can't control that anymore.
No, and that's the one thing that a lot of people don't understand, right? Is when we get to this point in our life, just like with my brother, when I told him everything I told him, I felt like I dumped a lot on him, but how he deals with it's his problem. And that's hard for a lot of people to understand, right?
It could be. Some people might be listening and think, well, that's kind of unfair.
But it's not unfair.
That's kind of selfish.
That's kind of selfish if you do that. Well, no.
No, it's not, right? It's unfair of me to continue to hang on to it because I'm afraid of how it's going to make him feel.
It's a real experience.
Yeah. It's,
and I can't do it. It wasn't yours to carry anymore.
No,
You've carried it long enough.
No. And you know what? I didn't say anything hurtful, mean, or nothing.
Right. There's
nothing.
Good to clarify.
And by the way I ended it, you're my big brother, period. I love you. I respect you. I look up to you. I idolize you. You're my big brother.
But we should clarify exactly what you just said, because it comes in another step right here. It talks about why we don't do that.
Step 9.
Right.
Yes. So, but what I was going to tell you is something that I pray about all the time. It's in my prayers all the time is, may you guide and direct me in all that I may do.
Right.
And may you place me where you need me.
Right.
In other people's lives, and vice versa. May you put those folks in my lives too.
Right.
In my life, excuse me.
7. This goes with 6. Humbly ask him to remove all those shortcomings. We just discussed that.
And then go ahead and say that prayer.
Number 7.
Doug, would you read that
Humbly
prayer?
asked him to remove our shortcomings. I got it listed here somewhere.
I can't even find it.
I have.
I'm not the book cruncher.
It's around here somewhere. But tell me what you feel about that.
Well, I'm going to tell you that's a daily
prayer. God, I'm willing that you should have all of me.
Right.
I don't need the page. Yeah. The good and the bad. I ask that you now remove from me every single defective character that stands in the way of my usefulness to you and to others. Give me strength as I go out from here to do your will. Amen. You have then completed step 7.
When ready, I just found it after you finished. Damn it.
But I don't say it in that context. But I do that every day.
That's just
That is
that's laying yourself bare to God, saying, "Here, take out what you want,
right
put
here.
in what you want."
You know, and I'm going to continue to go back to this. Continue. You can say the words all you want. I've said those words, Rob, 19 billion times.
But
I've said them.
But the last time you went on and did 8 and 9, you went on and said, "God, I'm laying myself bare. I want this gift, and now I'm going to take the action and show you how much I want it." And He will always honor that.
And even still to this day, if as we go, as these shortcomings still come up,
but they're lessened.
If you don't let go absolute, like it tells us right here, let's go absolutely. If you don't, you're not going to experience the freedom, the joy,
the full freedom
that is promised to you, right? That you're not going to feel it.
You're going to shortchange it. We're shortchanging ourselves, and we do it.
Right.
2 times in my life, I'm telling you. Only 2 times.
8, made a list of all people we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them. I'm going to read number 9 real fast before we go on. Number 9, made a direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. I'm going to tell you right now, that was where I was wanting to get to, because when I was at Maynard's and the flood of the people that I had shit on started coming into me.
You told the story. You wanted to go.
I wanted to go now.
Start making phone calls.
As soon as Chris turned those chairs and stuff around on me, and I started feeling that, and the flood of people I shit on come just pouring down on me.
Let me ask you, because I've been there and I've been exactly at that place where you were at in that facility. Right. How dirty did you? I just felt
like a piece of shit.
I felt
filthy, horrible because like I said, and for me, and I've always been this way. If I got a problem, I'm going to hit it head on. Right, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, I'm going to hit a problem head on. Because to me, anything that lies still, I've never been able to anything to lie still. Ask my wife, drives her fucking nuts. Just let it go, Larry. No, we're dealing with this right now. It's 3:00 in the morning. I don't give a shit. We're dealing with it right now.
I got to take care of it.
Right. I don't care if you're asleep. I can't sleep.
Wake up.
So I wanted to take care of it. When all that started flooding out on me, that's why I had such a hard time with Jay. That's why I had a hard time, because I wanted to get to 8 and 9. I wanted to get to 8 and 9. I wanted to go to those people, and if I needed to be on my knees, I wanted to fix it. Right? I wanted it.
And the reason the steps come, because trust me, I'm telling you this because I've seen people do it. That's why the steps are in order. Because when people go out unprepared, they make it fucking 3 times as worse. They destroy relationships.
They put resentment out there.
They never get sober because they just destroy things because they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
That's where good sponsorship comes in.
Yeah, so I mean, that's, to me, the amends part was, like I said, there's still one I haven't been able to make a full amends to. And I don't care.
Let's talk about
at this point. I'm
what
over
an amends is. Remember, because what do I say?
Right.
Amends is not going out and making. I'm sorry.
Right.
I remember what is the one thing I try not to have you guys say. Sorry, because we were nothing but a bunch of sorry sons of bitches. That's all we ever fucking said, and didn't mean any of it. I was wrong.
Right.
XYZ behavior. Right. Please forgive me. Whether they do or not, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You do what you can. I mean, if you ran over someone's mailbox, you don't owe them an apology. You owe them a fucking mailbox of equal or greater value. You make it right.
It's true.
I just love the simpleness of it. Right.
It is.
You do the best to make it right and do no harm.
Right.
And that's where and if there's some that there's like with divorce and ex-wives, good sponsorship, you bring that to go like the gentleman. You guys know who I'm talking about. He hasn't been with us. He's got working a night shift, so we can't.
Oh yeah.
I asked him write letters.
Strongly suggested that.
No, I didn't. I made him give me 6. For these 6 people, I want letters. Right. Then you're going to come read them to me.
Right.
And we're going to go through them. Okay, this I would leave this out. Right. This you're going to make it worse. This is you're blaming her. That.
Right. Yeah.
And then you're going to read this to her. Mm-hmm. And then shut your mouth,
right?
And then stand and take it. Yep. Whatever they had to say, you just stand and take it.
Take it.
You've said your piece, and that's an amends.
Right.
Equal or greater value. You're trying to make it right. Don't do more harm. It's so much.
Right.
It's simple, but you could.
Yeah. And so that's where when I said that the more peace that I got, that's when the serenity started coming more. Yeah, that it became more and more and more and more.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
When I got more and more of that shit off of me, I had the light that was, I felt the peace coming, but man, when I started sitting in front of those people that I respected, right? And I had shit on these people that I respected, and I started telling them,
owning your shit.
I was owning my shit.
I admired what, I told you that before, because you were,
I hit it hard.
You hit it freaking hard. And I remember I went and did that one today. I called that, I was like, and it was one after another. Like, I was like, that's how it's done right there. Because I didn't have that experience. All mine were pretty much letter written stuff. Right. And I will tell you the greatest one the second time was phone calls, right? Because they were out of state. But the first one, the most powerful one, was my father with a letter right at the grave, right? That
Mine
was
too.
Right.
And grandfather and grandmother, 3 in 1. They're buried next to each other. It was just, and wow, like oh my god. And I understand my father, right? And at that point, you did the best you could.
Right. Nope.
Forgiveness.
Yep.
My mom and dad are stacked on top of each other. I got to do that.
Yeah.
Which was
crazy, man.
painful.
Wonderful.
The shit thing is, Chris made me write a letter to my dad while I was in Maynard's because I was struggling with that one because that's kind of started, and then so I had to read that letter.
Because you became the man that you never wanted to be. That's why I was like.
And then when I did the night step, I had to go redo Mom and Dad. So I did that one twice. Sucked, but good.
Yeah.
But the freedom, but that's when because like the 5th step was me and Pat shared. I didn't get that freedom that most people get. I was like a nerd. I was like,
oh, I did
6 and 7, not 6 and 7, a little bit. Like I did, I got a little bit but as I started going to, and I remember I got to hear the gamut. Rob, I'm just grateful you're doing good. I don't even know what you're talking about, but whatever. And then I've heard Rob go,
go die in a hole.
Yeah,
I got almost all of mine.
Most of mine were good, but I got to hear
the one I got to do, and I think I talked to you about this. The one I didn't know if I was ever going to see the guy, and honestly didn't know how I was going to react when I saw the guy. Because quite honestly, honestly, I wanted to punch him in the mouth, right? But because I had owned my side of all that, right, and I was just talking to Brother Brad, and I was telling him, I was like, I owned my side of it. I didn't need to do the amends, but I wanted to, right? And I was like, so when I saw him, I talked to him, and I got a lot of what I wanted off, and I felt a ton better. And it was just like, because I hadn't seen the man in so many years, I didn't know how I was going to respond when I saw him, because I literally had a ton of anger to that guy, but I'd let so much go that when I saw him, I literally just
immediately got up and went to him as soon as you saw him.
They just sat breakfast down. I got up and walked out. I was like, because I saw his kids there.
His son, I know who you're talking about.
And that is how you're supposed to do it. And that is why you are where you are. At 2 years sober, you're further than most people because you do the work.
It's the only way.
Before I forget, I'm going to say one thing. When Doug was here telling his story, there's a letter that he has, an amends that his stepdad made that he hasn't found. Would you please one day? I just got the bird from Doug. Did you see that? Hey, that's the equivalent of Doug saying, fuck you.
I didn't say it.
You still haven't read that.
Intention. I haven't found it.
No, would you
haven't found it.
Because we're going to have Doug here again. Would you do me a favor?
What's that?
Would you find that?
Yeah,
I could drag up some old shit.
I probably know exactly where it's at.
I think
you probably just don't want to go look for it.
But I mean,
and most likely, right? But
would you? I mean,
he's usually right.
Who is
a little prick?
Rob. He's a hobbit.
But I'll go look for it. Yeah, and then we'll read it together.
Yeah.
So 10 and 11. I didn't mean to jump off that, but I did. So fuck off. 10. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admit it.
Can I see your book, Doug?
Yeah, that right there is.
Let me go to page 85. Hold on.
10 is where I have to do.
I agree.
Well,
I live that.
You'll get drunk.
Well, but it's not only that. I just feel like a piece of shit because all of my amends that I did wasn't stealing. It wasn't any of that. It was making people feel like less of a human being. Mental.
Words.
I shit on people. Yes. I made people feel like shit. I made them feel like a gnat. I just those. So number 10, I am so cautious of, even when I'm in a hurry, tired, selfish, I have to be very, very cautious of that because I can cut hard.
Well,
right?
the things that bother me the most with people is not things I did, but the things that I said.
Right.
I think that's probably 90% of me. Because part of this, real quick before you get into that, is sometimes the immediate action words that are in our book.
Immediate.
At once.
At once.
Yeah. For me, that means, I'm going to get to it semi quickly.
Yeah.
That's just me. Because I know you're the opposite.
do
We're
that.
going right now. We're
Right.
going to do it. And I'm like, well, yeah, I got it. I got it on the list here. I'll get there,
My son-in-law.
sometimes coming.
Ask my son-in-law. I say this all the time when you see two people arguing. And it's like, either fucking fight or shut up. One or the other. It drives me fucking nuts to watch two people arguing back and forth. You want to go? You want to go? Want to go? Fuck, hit.
Yeah.
God damn. Fight or go away. Jesus, fuck.
Okay, now, you're talking about the initial way through the steps. Step 9, you clean up your side of the street.
Mm-hmm.
Step 10 is those are the growth steps, as we call them. Right. Now, here again, if you have a piss poor sponsor, he's going to tell you, well, when you do your 10th step at night, you're an idiot. Because on page 85, on bottom page 85 says step 11, suggest prayer and meditation. Step 11 says when we retire at night and upon awakening, and that's when those things take place. Step 10 is how you conduct yourself through the day. And here we go. This thought, let me break it down real quick. This thought brings us to step 10, which suggests we continue to take what? Personal inventory. And continue to set right any new mistakes as we go along. You step on someone's toes, eat crow, eat it hot, motherfucker.
Shit
eat it
sandwich,
hot.
right?
Yeah, eat that crow hot.
Right.
Here's Doug's words. We vigorously commence this way of living as we cleaned up the past.
I start to get into action.
We have entered the world of the spirit. Our next function is to grow in effectiveness and understanding. This is not an overnight matter. It will continue for a lifetime if you want to stay sober. Continue to watch for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. Okay, we learned about those words in the 4th step, didn't we? When these crop up, not if, when these crop up, we ask God to remove them at once. Okay, removal of defects of character. We learned about that in step 6 and 7. We discussed them with someone immediately. Confession, step 5. And make amends quickly if we harmed anyone. Amends, we learned about that in steps 8 and 9. Then we resolutely turn our thoughts to someone we can help. So if I'm doing my 10th step properly, I have an opportunity to do steps 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 12 throughout my day.
Right.
That's how you stay clean throughout your day.
I have to. If at the end of the night,
if you want your brain to be shut
how
down.
many times have I texted?
Yep.
So a guy, one of the coaches, I had to text him 11 o'clock at night because I said something stupid after a football game, and I had to text him. Hey, man, sorry about that. That was not right of me to say. And I'll say it. I think Michael, I've had to text him a couple times at night after something. Because I'll say some shit, and later on I'll go.
As you're doing your inventory, as you're
kind
doing
of
your
starting to
step,
thinking about shit that my day and blah. I'm like, well, that was fucked up to say, and I'll have to, right, and I have to, because the way my brain works, I'll wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it. Right?
Yes, yeah.
God damn it! I should have done this. And
I'm glad I don't have that.
I start arguing fuck you don't.
I can sleep like a
baby. Arguing with myself in the middle of the night. Number 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the prayer to carry that out.
Power.
What did I say?
You said
and
prayer.
The power to carry that out.
Sorry. His will for us and the power to carry that out. So many people have a hard time with this word. Sought through prayer and meditation. People, please understand this word meditation. This means to sit momentarily quiet for just a brief moment. Guys, listen, I'm going to be very crude right now. I sit on the shitter very quietly. I sit in very odd places very quietly, and it's only a moment. You're going to hear me say this, and I've said it multiple times. It takes just a moment to reverse the darkness, right? It takes just a moment. So don't get hung up on that word meditation. So many people say, well, I can't sit there for meditation. Motherfucker, you sit on the toilet, don't you? Use that as your meditation. You sit there, throw the damn phone to the side, use that. Use it.
Okay, but we also have to break down, what does the big book mean?
Right.
Bill breaks it down, what he says, what he means by meditation. And what he means by meditation is not, in his version, and it's the same as biblical meditation. But anyway, the big book, it's not, it could be momentary, but it's not emptying your mind and staying empty. Right. It's filling your mind with the things of God. And he breaks down in the 12 by 12 what he kind of means by using the prayer of St. Francis. Right. Take that. Yeah. What does it look, Lord, let me be an instrument of your peace. Right. Okay, now break that down. What does it look like to be, throughout my day, to be an instrument of peace? Right. Where there is discord, let me bring joy. Or those kind of things, let me bring love. What would that look like in my life? And just break that down. That's kind of the meditation that Bill was talking about. Not.
But go ahead, Doug.
My grand sponsor was when I was going through this part, and he was saying, meditation, and he was telling me what he did, right? And I just looked at him and said, there is no way, because I'm like you. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I if I sit that still, I'm going to sleep.
Right.
That's just me, right?
My brain will
and
never
I have
allow it.
the same thing of ADHD, like to sit. I'm zzz, and I'm off, right? But to have that moment,
right? Just a moment
is just. So I agree with everything you're saying there. It's just
a moment, because I hear it so.
I put prayer in there. I don't. That's just for me.
However you choose to use that, but I hear it so often. Well, I'm never going to meditate. Stop, folks, because I think when people hear that word meditate, they think of Buddha sitting in a cross-legged.
That's what they did in the lotus position.
Yeah, that is
palms
not
up, baby.
Well, that's not what they mean by if that's what people want to do, knock yourself out. But that's not what the big book means. That's not what Bill means. Can I see your book again?
But if you're not doing but if you did this first and didn't go through the 12 by 12, right? Which they didn't have, people would think that that's a definition of meditation.
Right. And
but I don't know why, because
but I don't want people to get hung up on this word. I think we're already spending more time than I want of it. I just wanted to say don't get hung up on that word meditation. Just take a moment and say, good morning, God.
Okay. Let me read 2 paragraphs. This is step 11. Upon awakening, right? This is the last. In thinking about our day, this is Bill says, in thinking about our day, this is when we start our day, step 11. We may not be able to determine which course to take. Here we ask God for inspiration, an intuitive thought or decision. We relax and take it easy. We don't struggle. We are often surprised how the right answers come after we have tried this for a while. What used to be the hunch or the occasional inspiration gradually becomes a working part of the mind. Being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God, it is not probable that we are going to be inspired at all times. We might pay for this presumption in all sorts of absurd actions and ideas. Nevertheless, we find that our thinking will, as time passes, be more and more on the plane of inspiration. We come to rely upon it. We usually conclude this period of meditation with a prayer that we'd be shown all through the day what our next step should be. What did I just say? We usually conclude this period of meditation. So from there to there, that's what we were doing as far as the big book is concerned. That's what he considers meditation. Getting your mind, your motives in tune with God.
Right.
That's what he's talking about, because he just used the word.
Right.
So you don't need the 12 by 12. Go to page 86 and 87 and read and do everything it says. And guess what you just accomplished as far as the big book is concerned? Meditation.
I've heard people.
Good job.
Yeah. This is why I love Rob.
Yeah,
for sure. He can dig into that book. But here's what I've heard people say. I've heard people say they sit and write their to-do list, which I just talked about. They use that as their meditation time, right? Okay. I've heard another lady say she does it while she does her makeup. That's her meditation time. She doesn't listen to anything else. She does her makeup. I sit in my chair, right? Whether it's 5:30 or 4:30 or 7 o'clock. I don't even look at the clock anymore. I'm done with that, right? I'm done with that. I'm just done with looking at the clock. Those are how the different ways of people are doing it. Whatever it is, find your way, right? Find your way. Whatever it is, it could be the way of the big book. It can be the way of when you do your makeup. It could be before you turn that TV on of a morning, take a moment. I don't care if it's 30 seconds, because I heard this as somebody talking about strength training, right? If you do a 5-pound weight for 2 minutes every day, it'll eventually turn into 10 pounds, which will eventually turn into 20 pounds, which will eventually turn into 30 pounds, which will eventually, if you just create that habit of doing something, start off small, start off just something.
And if you can do that, if you can hold your attention for 5 seconds, next time try it for 10.
Right.
I know a guy he stares at candles.
Right. Hey, whatever.
He lights a candle, and he'll do that. But he'll be staring. He can recite it, but he'll be staring at a candle. Just the candle, and that's it. Other than that, he's looking at squirrels. Squirrel.
Yeah, I can't. I have to be reading something for my brain to stay focused. Right. I have to be reading something and then writing as I'm reading. That's how I wanted to do
was let people know, because it's in the book. You know how I am with the book.
No.
What the big book? What that word? Because you were talking about the definition of what people have their own definition of God. Meditate.
Right.
As far as they're concerned, That's what it is.
Yeah, it's not sitting in a cross-legged and a loaded.
But that's what you want to do, and that's how you
Right.
get closer to God as you understand Him. By God, get after it.
Well, to
It
Larry's
makes you a
point,
better person.
find your way.
Find something.
something.
Find your
But just
moment.
do it.
Right.
But try it.
Do something. I promise you it'll change your day.
I've tried everything. I've tried journaling. Don't work for me.
No.
But some people swear by it.
I write, but if you were trying to read my writing, you would think I need to be in a straight. That's my point. You would think I need it in a straitjacket. You guys have heard me write my list of fears, right? They make sense. I just re-listened to that the other day.
I heard you.
I like to listen to other podcasts only because ideas come in, and it helps me. Especially if I'm out, I'll listen to my own podcast. Not that I like to hear myself talk, fucker.
Whatever.
Yeah. Number 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these...
No, as the result, not a result, as the result of these steps. You said a.
Having had a spiritual awakening as these... Thank you. Mm-hmm. Fuck you, Rob. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's important.
Having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. That's what we're doing right here on this podcast.
Yeah, carrying the message.
Yeah, this is what we do here. That's what we do with our...
What is the message? What is the message as far as Bill Wilson is concerned? What's the message, and what do we find in the big book?
Message of recovery.
Well, yeah, you're right. Actually, it's absolutely right. You go back
That's
to
my message.
Well, you go no, but that's not the message.
You're not alone.
We're not to carry our message. We're to carry the message. And the message is right here. I'm going to tell you what it is because it's probably
Page number.
It's going to be the forward of the first edition. It's Roman numeral 8, I believe. XIII. We of Alcoholics Anonymous are more than 100 men and women who have recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. To show other alcoholics precisely how we have recovered is the main purpose of this book.
Mm-hmm. Precisely.
Which
is outlined in this book.
Right.
That is what we're supposed to carry. Hey, alcoholic, you can recover from a seemingly hopeless state of body and mind.
Right.
That's good fucking news. That was good news to me.
Right.
Really?
Carry the news.
And how am I going to do that? Well, I got some. Let me read you these steps, dipshit. if you got the guts, you can do it.
Yeah, that's the
here
key.
We go.
Yeah.
If you have the guts, you can have this too.
That's the frustrating part. I'm gonna start shutting this down. But that's the frustrating part when I talked to the man that called me up there, and you guys say it's easy for you to say it on this side, and yes, it is easy for me.
It's
easier for me to say it, and why didn't you say it? Why didn't you see it when you were struggling on your side? Blah blah blah. And you're right. I didn't see it. It wasn't approached to me the way. If somebody would have, and I think that's why I do it the way I do it, because if somebody would have approached me the way I approached you, the way I approached this, the way I approached the people, I wear the A triangle on my arm. This is not a sleeve on my arm. This is my story, right? Mm-hmm. People ask me about my story on my arm. Everything on this arm is my story. My sobriety date, my piece, everything on this arm is a piece of my story, right? So when people ask me, this is what I have to say, right? Mm-hmm. And if somebody would have approached me like that, I would have been, maybe I need to give this shit a try, right?
And then let me give Larry a compliment real quick. And I think the reason you do it, I think it's the reason I do it. We do it, but for you, it's definitely because you'll try it this way, that way, this way, because you want. If someone could have approached you this way, it could have saved you or saved someone else one day of pain.
Right. Yep.
That's why you do it.
100%.
If you could save someone one day of pain that they don't have to feel, that's why
I will yoke it every ounce of it.
That's why I love you.
I have the ability to yoke your pain, right? I have the ability to do that. I have other people to share that yoke with.
Well, that's the first thing you told me when I was talking about my buddy, right? You were like, dude, you don't need to do this alone. You got a big yoke.
Yeah, you got a big yoke.
You were like right away.
We all are here for you.
Yeah.
You're the man out front, right? But you got a bunch behind you. Let us help you carry that, right? Dump your burden, dump your pain, dump everything you want on me. I got other people that'll help me carry this yoke behind me, right? Amen. Don't worry about me, right? I will be okay. Right. And that's one thing that I said when I first started working with Rob is like, holy shit, you got people dumping on you all the time, right? And one of the first things I said to Rob in the very beginning is, do you have somebody to talk to? And that's when he invited me over to Brad's house. And I'm like, oh yeah, now I see. He's got plenty
Dude,
of guys.
I do the same thing. I'll call and say, hey, Rob.
Right. Right. Because we have to, right?
Yeah.
And that's where
a lot of times I go, hey, Jesus, Doug just shared this with me, and I don't want to carry it no more. All right, give it to me.
Right.
My yoke is light, baby.
Right. Yeah. And those are the things I dump out, and I don't dump it on my wife. I don't dump it on my children.
I dump stuff on Doug
right.
on the way here.
I dumped it. Hell, I'll call Michael. I'll call, I try to call somebody that I feel like has been through whatever I'm working through.
Which
right.
is smart.
Yeah.
Not everybody does that, dude.
No,
that is a great, great tool.
And somebody told me the other day that what I'm really good at in my profession is marrying people together, right? That this person is great at that. Let's put those two together, and I'm going to step out of the way. So I do that in my own personal life, right? I'm not going to call Rob to talk to Rob about something that I know that Doug's already dealing with, right? Why would I do that? I ain't going to burden Rob when I can.
It's not a burden. And
no, it's not that it's a burden. It's why would I know that I'm going to get
Doug, who walked through that experience
I'm going to get a director out.
Doug is better equipped for that question.
I'm going to take the freeway.
That's all.
I'm going to take the freeway instead of the side road with Rob, right? I went directly to the source, and that's how I worked through it.
Isn't it great having all that?
And it is. My God. And having that and be able to have, and once again, we're going to shut this down, but and I want to encourage people, and I didn't say this in the very front, and I should have. I may even go back.
recoveryunfilteredpodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you, Rob. Questions, concerns, comments, birthdays, shout out to somebody. You need help.
If you want help starting up your own group.
Right. If you want to know how we went about getting that group started, how it works, how it goes, how we do, call us, burden us, right? Let us carry your yoke, right? Let us be that person. We are 20, we talk about 18, 19 guys in that, but we're 26 strong in there with the new guys that we just had. Actually 28, sorry. We're 28 strong in there, and there's 28 men in there from 40 some years all the way down to a few days, right? They're all the way in between there. We have the answers.
We got plumbers, we got sheet metal workers, we got asphalt guys. We got, if you need something fixed, we come to your house and we get it done.
Rob. Anyways, we're going to get out of here. Doug, thank you, my brother.
Guys.
Love you. Love it when you came in here. Rob, dude, you know what? I needed this today.
It was good.
I did. I didn't get my Monday last week. I got my meetings in Austin, but it's just nothing like being home with your brothers. Nothing.
And talking solution.
Right.
Yeah. And God is it.
So yeah, my wife's like, man, she's all morning. You grumpy. You're grumpy. I'm like, I know, but I got help coming.
Medicine's on the way.
Medicine's on the way, baby. I'm all good now. So we're gonna get out of here, guys. Hey, thank you for joining us.
Later.
Thank you for joining us today.
We hope you learned something today that will help you.
If you did not, come back next week and we'll try again.
If you like what we heard, give us a 5-star review. If you don't like what you heard, kiss my... You can't say that, can you? Anyway, if you don't like what you heard, go ahead and tell us that too. We'll see what we can improve. We probably won't change nothing, but do it anyway.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Come back next week and hopefully something will be different and something will sink in. Take care.
This has been Recovery Unfiltered.